Hi everyone, this is ZPJ. Today I'd like to review another mic. It's a C214 by AKG C214. It's not a fancy microphone. It is a condenser microphone, nice sounding. It only has two switches, a negative 20 decibel switch and a roll-off switch. It is quite a nice sounding mic though by AKG. It's similar to the C414, so if I measure it from the base, it's approximately the same height. There, measure it from the base, it's approximately the same height. It is wider though. It doesn't have quite as many switches. So the AKG 414 C414S on the back has the negative decibel switches -6, 12, 18, and the roll-off. It has 3 levels, 40, 80, and 160. This just has a simple roll-off. This is a higher version of it. There's also the C414-2. It's a gold colored mesh on the front, same polar patterns, several different polar patterns on the front, and several different minus decibel and roll-off switches, same as the 414S. They all come with the same kind of shock mount. You just stick it in and then you twist it into place. It locks firmly into place like that. So they are quite similar in appearance. Now in terms of sound quality, well, I would have to say it's best if you listen to the sound. And this is not a comparison, by the way. I'm not going to compare the sounds. If you want to compare the sound of this to the sound of those mics, I have already uploaded the recordings with those two mics that I had done some months ago, and I'm going to use the same sound chain, I should say. The universal audio, there's going to be no post-processing. The only thing I might adjust a little bit is the volume. I'm not recording with this mic now. I'm recording with the Sony pin mic, but I will just now do a session recording with this microphone. So as soon as I have it hooked up to the Apollo, I'll record it into Logic Pro, and then I'll mix the sound to the video. Okay? Now we have a nice line of comparison. All right, so now I am speaking into the C214, and it's going into my Apollo Twin, Universal Audio Apollo Twin. There's no post-processing taking place whatsoever. Everything is going through raw into Logic Pro. The only thing I'm going to do is boost the volume if needed, but that will not color or add any kind of effect to the sound chain. So what you're hearing is what you get from the mic. I feel that Universal Audio is very good in picking up the sound as is intended and as it should be, very natural. And I'm listening to this right now, and it's coming right into my headphones. And these headphones are Audio-Technicas. really good headphones, so I'm getting a good indication of what this mic is. And although it doesn't have, as mentioned earlier, although it doesn't have the different polar patterns on it, it just has the cardioid frontal input, because it rejects the noise from the back. Not as well as, for example, a dynamic supercardioid, but it's picking up the volume from the front well. Now, if I'm comparing the sound of this to the other AKGs, so for example, the 414 XLS2 and the 412 XLS XL2, I would say that the 414 XLS is a bit darker. The 214 is a bit more like the XL2. It has that airiness to it. It's a bit more pronounced on the top end. And is that a good thing? Well, this is a pretty pricey mic. I've got two of them, not very easy to get. I got one here, one in my mic cabinet there behind me. Not easy to get on a thin budget. But if you are looking for a sound similar to this, the AKG 214 definitely comes close to it. So again, if you're going to sing into it or use it on a mic cabin, to use it on getting the best out of your acoustic guitars, you don't always need to use those different polar patterns. So the frontal input, the cardioid input is actually quite sufficient. In my opinion, it's quite sufficient for the purpose of what you actually need this for. It sounds very nice, very rich in the deeps, rich in the mids, rich in the highs, on a very equal level. So it's a well balanced, natural sounding mic. I am very pleased with what it sounds like. The noise floor is quite low. It doesn't have a lot of noise. As far as the build quality, it's very nice, very good, quite sturdy. As far as the gizmos on it, in terms of the polar patterns, it's lacking if you compare it to the C414s. But sound wise, in terms of acoustics, it's a very good mic. Now you can buy this new, you can buy it used. I got it used. I don't have a problem buying used mics because they're broken in, so the membrane sounds more natural when you use the older mics. I wouldn't quite call this vintage yet, but I guess the older used mics have more of that vintage quality to them acoustically, and they're not as sharp, I guess, as the newer ones. It's kind of like a knife. You use the knife to cut for a few years, it becomes a bit dull. Perhaps not quite so much with the mics, but it's not quite as sharp as a new mic out of the box. So breaking in the mic for a few sessions does give it a warmer sound quality. So would I recommend this mic? Absolutely. So if you don't want to spend a lot of money, and I'm not going to quote the price because the price is very store to store and country to country. If you don't want to pay around $1,000 US for that mic, then this is a good option, the 214, which is less in terms of the cost. But as far as the acoustics, as far as the sound quality, I would judge it to be very close to its more expensive cousin. And again, singing into it and using it on a mic cabin, using it on an acoustic guitar, picking that up, you don't need the fancy polar patterns. The cardioid will suffice, especially if you have a stereo pair of these mics. Much more affordable than to get a stereo pair of these. I'm lucky to have a stereo pair of these, but definitely this mic is good for its value. Well, again, you can listen to this mic in comparison to these other two mics on this channel. I recorded both of these mics on the same sound chain, so you can have a listen to these previous recordings and then compare those acoustic characteristics to that of the 214. So this is not a mic comparison. Well, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And of course, your subscription is much appreciated. So please don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I do hope to make many more of these videos. I'll try to make more comparisons. So please tune into my channel. You can listen to some of the music that I recorded with these mics. I'll try to indicate which mics I'd use for which recording purpose, i.e. guitars, vocals, backing vocals, and then you can see for yourself what they sound like in real action. Although I in recording music, I do use coloration, I do use effects, both hardware and software effects, so you won't get the clear essence of what the mic actually sounds like in real fashion, as it is here, dry, without any effects. Thank you so much. ZPJ, over and out.